Welcome back, everybody. It is time to clock in. It's time to get focused, get serious, because we are on to the money match for North America. It is Melee Creeps taking on the Unks for the hefty cash prize here on the Night Shift. I'm Jake. I'm joined by Jason and Dan, and we're very excited to get into this epic conclusion to our Night Shift.
Yeah, honestly, what I'm looking forward to is us potentially getting 166 more subs, so we get to see the tattoo that's on Jake's back. Remember, 166 more. You can not only support us here at the Night Shift, but you also get to see Jake's lovely back. And I hear he's been working on his lats, so he's got some like really good V taper going on. If you want to see, he's also got some like weird circles on his back. I'll let you figure that out when we do see it, if we do see it, of course. But also, Melee Creeps up since the Unks, man. Like, I think the Unks have been surprised in the Trolley Open. I mean, they even took a match off a sneaky Golem and almost took a best of 3 against them. We see them take down the Poshy Pop's new roster, a new team so far. I don't think they have a solid 6 just yet, but Melee Creeps to me is going to be a different beast for them, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, Melee Creeps are the full package. You know, they are, very well the best team in this region right now. They have incredible macro. They have incredible depth of hero pool. They have so many people that are best in class on multiple different heroes in the pool. You can't really go up against a stronger test, and so the thing for me is, which parts of the game can the Unks survive against Melee Creeps? Can they, if they survive the early game, like let's say that, they lost the early game in the previous game, but they managed to turn it around. Are they able to do that against Melee Creeps? What are you going to do when John plays Bebop against you? What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, and I mean, we've hyped up the Unks a lot. We've given them a fair share of flowers, but it's the Melee Creeps, the clear favorite, awaiting their challenge here in this money match, in this best of 3. As you're saying, I mean, there's a lot of best in class in North America across this roster, a lot of threats to be worried about as the Unks. And I am curious, Jason, who jumps out at you when you think about this roster and you think about what the Unks are bringing? Who's the biggest problem that they need to solve?
That's interesting, actually. I think it depends on what you consider a problem. Do you consider like John on Bebop to be a massive threat to the team? Like, is he going to win you games on Bebop? Yeah, potentially. I think if you're going to look at maybe who the biggest threat on the roster overall, I think it has to be either Saya or Ido. And this is only the second week we're seeing Ido within this roster of Melee Creeps, but Saya's been one of the most consistent players and such a massive threat when it comes to his Paradox, and particular now with his Holiday. We've seen him be able to play the likes of Gun Ivy before in the Trolley Open, but I'm also hoping we get to see that EU Gun Holiday coming through out of him, because I know he can definitely play that to a very, very strong extent. But then Ido, in his case, we haven't really seen him, I think, fully unleashed in this roster just yet. I think there's a lot of room for him to grow within the team. He's got a pretty good hero pool. He's got a playmaker hero pool as well, and that kind of fits into the style of what they needed for Melee Creeps.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
You make a great point about the Holiday, man. Saya has been, I think, one of the top NA Holidays for a while, and with this powerful new gun build surfacing, it feels like there's no better hero to like maybe even go for a very early draft in that draft phase. We'll have to see how these two teams approach it. Let's take a look, though, at the Unks, of course. The challengers coming in, earned their spot here in this money match with some impressive plays, right? I feel like Wander looked good on the backline carry, Gibbs on the signature Viscous, always delivering. And Zera maybe didn't seem as comfortable on the Holiday, but the aim is there, the mechanics are there, the farm is there, and the team play is there. And honestly, how much is that individual hero comfort really going to make the difference? I feel like the team play is what's driving the Unks forward and what's putting them so far in the position to really take this challenge to Melee Creeps.
Yeah, I think the challenge will be getting some of those key picks. I do think Gibbs, like landing Viscous, is not something that is too hard to accomplish, but it's going to be Wander landing Yamato that is probably going to be difficult, because Yamato, as we saw, that there is room to ban Yamato, and Yamato is high value generally right now in the meta, so that's the biggest target. Aiden on Vindicta, again, that is a possible pickup, like that could get let through. So if a couple key picks get let through, it does definitely feel like the Unks can put something nice together based on what we saw previously. So, they have good players. They have some good experience. Like Jason said, some of the macro might not be kind of super polished just yet. But I felt overall they had a game plan throughout every stage of the match. If they can get a tempo draft together where they can move like that, I like the chances of the Unks to do damage, to survive, to make it look competitive. I don't like the chances to win against Melee Creeps, but I don't think I would like anyone's chances in this region to win against Melee Creeps. So it's not a knock on them.
You know what's the real alpha play though out of melee creeps is just don't bother banning Yamato or Vindicta. Just do like some off the wall bans and then just beat them while they're playing their best heroes. I think that would be like the biggest chat thing you could do.
Little Dynamo McGinnis ban, you know, just take out the biggest threats off the field. Of course, you got to hard prio those. I don't think this is a match that melee creeps can take lightly. I agree with you. I think they're favored, but I think they are going to need to use everything at their disposal to attack the Unks and like deny them their best characters, get melee creeps on their comfort heroes. But I think first pick, I honestly would like to see melee creeps grab Holiday first pick. I know maybe it's a little crazy, but I think ban the Kelvin and take the Holiday for Saya, and that might just be a massive recipe for success. I think you can draft around the rest of it, but they do probably Yamato ban, so putting respect on Wander here.
I feel like I just want to quickly double check on my side if it was Saya who played. Yeah, I think Saya's looking. Actually, I know Saya, I think, does the draft for melee creeps, but I think at the same time, while he's doing the draft right now, he's thinking, please ban Kelvin, please ban Kelvin. I don't want to freaking play Kelvin in this next game. And they go for the Bebop, so they go for the respect ban against John here. So now for melee creeps, Kelvin's left open, but so's Holiday.
That's the thing. Your melee creeps is going to get one of them, but then the Unks is not only going to get a response pick, but they're also going to get, you know, the other of those top two characters right now. So melee creeps, what are they going to prioritize? Holiday or Kelvin? I mean, maybe something else, but those two are clearly top of mind. And it's the classic Kelvin. In the end, this is still pretty scary, right? Like melee creeps with Kelvin. This is a very good team that knows how to get the most out of objective fights. And now you've given away the best objective, you know, battling hero to them. Even Holiday might struggle here.
What do we get? do we like lean heavy into comfort, forget value?
Helping people's what I do.
Okay, so Ivy comes on through. We didn't actually talk about it as much last game, Jason, but like the way Ivy is best played, obviously, is the way that we've seen it played in Europe, where Ivy gets like a single track to work with, and the rest of the team's able to pressure in the key moments when the power spike is there for Ivy to start farming really rapidly. So that's something the Unks were not doing in the previous match, and Ivy needs to be a bit ahead to, I think, look as good as Ivy can look. Shiv makes a lot of sense, but they have given up the opportunity to maybe get Shiv, Vindicta, or Shiv, even potentially Viscous. Like some of these comfort picks will not survive the second ban wave, I feel.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of hope to see them pick up Vindicta as a third pick, just based off like priority for the individual players of what they can work with. On the Ivy note, though, I think if you want to see the most success of an Ivy, your team has to play around the Ivy, which means you have to specifically allow Ivy to farm up the jungle as well, take a big chunk of that and a big chunk of the lane as well, if you want to have her hit that 35k power spike and really start to carry these games. And the last game, Wonder wasn't really gifted that opportunity, because the Unks didn't play that way to get the Ivy fed in particular. But this is looking pretty familiar from the last game so far.
I mean, it sucks to be up against the Infernus Holiday, but at least I guess you can, the consolation, I guess you can get your Vindicta in there.
Wait, so is it going to be John on Holiday again? Because if you remember last week, he played Doorman, he played Holiday, and he played Geist. So he's been flexing around his pool a little bit more here, which would leave Sai open to take the Kelvin. And I think John could be a pretty sick Holiday, to be honest.
Yeah, draft feels pretty wide open in terms of like who's going to play what. I think the Unks, very happy to get like Wander on the Ivy for some comfort. Aiden, of course, on the Vindicta. He can handle that pick super well. And the Shiv is just always going to be a pretty strong pick at the competitive level of play. We've seen this, even without Kelvin these days. Shiv is just considered top tier. I like banning the pocket away. It takes away one of Ido's scariest threats, like the OG Ido, one trick. Although I think he's transcended that pretty drastically by now, but you still don't want to see Ido on the pocket, man. No matter how long this game goes, I think that's always going to be a pretty scary player-hero combo. And so they take it away, protects kind of the Shiv, and also limits some of the options for Ido. Curious to see where melee creeps elect to go for that heavy playmaker.
Soraka's Big Banana. Great name. I don't know if you guys captured what that's from, but great name. I didn't even consider this when going into the draft, by the way, is that by banning Yamato, you're also banning Ido yourself. So because they have such a big Yamato player with Wonder, Ido also won't have the ability to play that Yamato unless you want to leave it open and then pick it early, because the Unks would pick it early for sure, to be able to lock that in. And
they can't.
Yeah, it's banned out.
I mean, in this draft, I feel like the Ivy for Wander, you would rather that be Yamato if you were the Unks. So I think if you don't first ban it for melee creeps and if you're not first picking it yourself, which I think is maybe a little bit of overemphasis, especially with Kelvin available. But they go with the Calico, which I really like the Calico here. It's a character that can deal with Vindicta, like, tethering you, lassoing you. You're not too worried about a lot of these initiations. And even characters like Shiv, right, don't necessarily want to tangle with a hero that can disengage from them so easily. And the other creeps just go with the Mina, likely for Ido, right? Like another very comfortable hero. This guy just looks insane when you give him these ultra high mobility, ultra high skill characters. Feels like he just always has strong games, not only in the lane, but then uses that farm well in the late game, despite the fact that Mina has fallen off quite a bit in pick rate.
I'm curious what's
okay. Oh my god, he's doing it. He's actually doing it. I called him out in chat, but I didn't think it would actually happen.
Oh my god.
I mean, if there's anyone that's going to make Drifter work, it's going to be Zera.
Okay.
That is true. That is true. When we have seen a Drifter build work, like a gimmicky Drifter build where you you refresh the ult and you extend the duration and stuff. I wasn't expecting.
Never not gonna laugh at that. So yeah, so if you guys missed it earlier, he played. He's doing a series where he plays 100 heroes on every hero, 100 games on every hero, and he started with Drifter and just finished Drifter a few days ago. But he's been mostly playing Drifter as a carry. So I don't think he's been doing that support build, though. I don't know how it's gonna work within the team. He's moved on to Holiday now, but I mean, if anyone's gonna be able to play Drifter right now, I think it's gonna be him for sure.
Yeah,
all right,
could see the vision, get those isolations, but in a competitive match, how likely is that going to be? And is he going to find himself isolated 1v2 against Mo and Krill, of course, the most dangerous 2v1 to find yourself in the game? We have our draft, guys. Who's the favorite? Well, I'm curious for the Deathy Pred as well, actually. And also, do you think the Unks have put it together here? I think this draft looks absolutely wacky from the Unks, and Melee Creeps kind of got everything they wanted here. This looks super scary.
Yeah, I'm hard to disagree with that. To be honest, I literally have zero faith. Because with Aiden, Aiden has to be able to win a lane, and then kind of roll into a mid game. How do you do that against Holiday, Kelvin, Calico? There's so much. There's just too much. There's too much bullshit on the other end. There's too much.
I mean, it's still Aiden on Vindicta, man. Although you have to dodge the Warp Stone combos, which is not gonna be fun. You have to dodge the lassos. But again, if he pops off, man, he still could easily carry this game through. I think it's again about creating the space. I think the one scary thing about this combo though is the ultimate from Drifter paired with a tether. You're never going to see it coming. You're never going to see Vindicta when you're in the Eternal Darkness. You're not going to have the opportunity to close that gap unless you already see where she is and you get the engage yourself. So Drifter, I feel like, could create that space that Aiden would need on the Vindicta with a more comp that could dive against you like this.
It is a unique ability. It's like a flashbang, just taking away actual vision. There's no other ability like that in the game. So it is interesting. When we did see a build around that, I was kind of blown away, and it's okay, this does actually make sense how you can build an entire strategy around it. But I don't know if that's what we'll see here. And again, I just see too many problems. And as far as the Deathy prediction, it's got to be Abrams or Paradox, right? Which one makes more sense?
I was thinking Abrams, but I don't know who Lona is going to play in this then, if he does that.
So it must be Paradox then.
And who do you think is going to be the Shiv for the Unks? Is that
Arctic,
the Gibbs
right?
hero? Or? Okay. Oh yeah, Arctic. True. Yeah, has played a lot of Shiv.
Well, not Arctic, because he was on Bunny in the last game. So actually, no, sorry, it would be Deathy on Shiv. I'm stupid. It is Deathy on Shiv.
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense.
And then Gibbs is going to be on Paradox.
Roster changes.
Gibbs Paradox is comfortable, and then Lona on the Abrams. And I feel like everyone's got something that they're comfortable piloting. And while this draft is a little bit wonky from the Unks, I feel like they do have that comfort that could make it work. And honestly, I was thought about their last draft too. I thought, hey, is this really going to work? Is this kind of comfort tempo style actually going to look effective? And it did. So now, of course, the toughest challenger in the North American region is up against them. But I kind of, you know what? I got the Unks got some chutzpah, they got some stick-to-itiveness, some character in this draft, and I want to see Drifter work. Honestly, I think this character just has potential, like you were saying. The darkness is such a powerful ultimate. The potential to catch people isolated and to kind of play a split pushing style, and you have some pretty sick mobility plays around the map using that Hunter's Mark to go to camps. You can kind of do some crazy lineups, and I'm sure Zera is going to actually be pretty experienced at that. If you just grinded 100 games out for Drifter, you can kind of like shoot that mark out almost across the map to go to a creep camp, and you can show up in one lane and instantly be in the other faster than I would say any other hero in the game.
They did some
never
nerfs to
thought I
that
would-
at some point, right? Like, how good is it right now? Is it still like pretty solid? Because I haven't watched anyone play Drifter in ever.
I don't think you could call Drifter pretty solid. I think it's definitely like a pub. It's like a pubbing pick, like it can work, but the problem is you're all about isolating people, right? And you're all about finding people alone. And it's just in a competitive game when people are communicating, that's a much more rare circumstance, right? In a game where it's, every man for himself, people are going to be alone. You're going to catch somebody, greed farming and kill them and steal their bag and, completely turn the game on its head. But at this level, hey, use the buddy system. When you pop that darkness, yeah, you can't see, but if you have great comms and the team is talking to each other, maybe you can kind of play around it that way and work around those limitations. So I do think Drifter is at its toughest when you're playing at the highest level of Deadlock here. But of course, we'll have to see if the Unks can pull it off. It's the Unks taking on our reigning champions in the melee creeps. Jason, Dan, take it away, guys.
Dan, can I start us off on a topic really quickly here about Drifter before we move in fully to the game? Watching Zera, stream and hearing him talk about Drifter a little bit after his 100 games or during his 100 games, he had a really interesting idea that I liked. And it was change the way Drifter's isolation kill stack works. Instead of giving, the permanent weapon damage or bullet damage that you get from it from isolated kills, do it so if you hit a certain threshold, i.e. stacks, you gain certain passives or certain stats for the player. So like, for instance, if you get 5 isolated kills, you get like 20% movement speed or something. If you get 10 kills isolated, then you get like an extra 20% or 20% damage or cooldown reduction or something. Just like change up the way it works, because the isolation extra damage you get just isn't effective. And it's better almost to give them like a milestone to hit to unlock like a really good effect.
It'd be cool if you could, if there was multiple options as well, so you could kind of do like a whole skill tree. That'd be kind of interesting.
People theorized that there might be that change coming. If you remember, before we had the big shop update, and then with all the heroes coming out of, like for instance, mid boss, if you kill him, instead of getting rejuves, you would get like an extra. You would unlock like an extra ability, or like an extra tier to an ability that could change the way the ability works.
That sounds pretty complicated.
Yeah, very complicated.
But I like it. But that's the kind of stuff that I think that people who play this game or enjoy this game, you tend to like that kind of stuff. So long as it's not done in a way that's really irritating, I suppose, and just not fun. Which I guess sounds like kind of Captain Obvious to say that, but there's like a lot of mechanics that people can add into game design that just isn't enjoyable. But I feel like there's a version of this that could be really fun.
Give me like a PvE game mode and you have skill trees. That would be sick. But also there's been like some data mining of like an ARAM, but it's like a roguelite ARAM. So every time you like level up, you get the choice between 3 different items. So you kind of like build during the game happening. I don't know if you've seen that over on Reddit. It's kind of interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of potential. I think the thing that always worries me about stuff like that is if you split the community too much if you create too many different games. And I think a trend that a lot of the top games have started to have is that you tend to see is, especially esports based games, is that the esports, like nothing is as substantial as esports, and everything that comes as a separate game mode is like a much smaller thing. Like in Valorant, for example, you have Valorant, and then you have like death matches, and you have like just like very small game modes that are very bite-sized. But if you want to play Valorant, that's only one thing,
I mean, you look at like, for instance, PUBG. They do have first person. I don't know if you ever played PUBG Battle Royale. They have first person game mode. They have third person game mode. Then they have like different maps you can queue, and like certain game modes are. I mean, I guess there are certain like not as active as the other game mode, but then you also have like certain maps that are more active than the others. So if you want to play like a very niche map, like you're not really going to get one in a timely fashion. So yeah, adding like more things like that does limit or like cut down the ways to play the way you want to, for sure. But as we get into this game now, we can see lanes are breaking out. Kelvin and Furnace. So it looks like Melee Creeps want to make sure that D&B has a strong start on Infernus here. I was maybe expecting to pair with like Ido or maybe with Calico in particular for Fishcake, just to have strong starts for them where they might have a little bit of a tougher time. But I mean, we know the way Melee Creeps like to play around D&B, just to get them super giga fed.
Yep, that's how you do it. That is how you do it with your carry M1 player. And that is going to be the goal as well for Wander on the Ivy. We'll see if they can do it. And here's some Drifter action. You don't get to see this every day on the night shift. Almost never, actually. Basically never. I think when Drifter came out, we had Drifter a couple times. That was kind of it. So yeah, like you said, it's actually kind of interesting that Drifter is picked by the specialist. So we should get to see the most advanced Drifter play, I suppose, which is really fun. And I'm curious about the build as well, because Drifter is someone I just never looked at because it's not viable in pro play or hasn't been considered viable. So I've never even thought about ways you build the Drifter.
I mean, there were some builds with like Backstabber initially. There was like Spirit Snatch build. I guess it kind of depends. I've seen like Zera playing a Spirit build as well. I've seen him playing Gun build. I've seen him playing Tank build. I think it kind of just goes into what your team needs, but does that even matter? And oh man, they're gonna get a kill onto Zera already, and then they get the lock in onto Wander too, who at least does hit a nice parry onto both, so he might be able to survive from this one. But to be honest, the dive should still be able to come through. Not to mention they have the extra healing from the Frost Grenade on top of this, and yet Wander has still been able to survive.
Oh my god, he's alive for so long. That's a long dive as well.
Yeah, long enough for Zera to come back, but I don't think Zera could win this 1v2, and he just might die for this one.
Getting dived as well. This is horrendous. This is actually horrendous. Oh my goodness. I just can't look. I can't look.
You have to, it's your job.
I don't want to, Jason.
Well, so far, already a strong start. 2k in the lead here, 3k in the lead for Melee Creeps. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see Sai and DB try to push this Guardian down the left-hand side to free up Sai to start roaming around into these other lanes and allowing DMB just to free farm. But funny enough, the lane that's been having the toughest time has actually been this right-hand side with Lona and Gibbs. It's Paradox and Abrams up against the Mo and Krill and Holiday of John and of Scout. And that Guardian's already very low on HP. It's probably the lowest, lowest in the game at the moment, even compared to the left lane.
I will be curious to see, how much Aiden can get out of this early to mid game. As you see the Unks taking down a Guardian, so yeah, good work on that one. There's the catch coming in though with the combo, but it doesn't obviously amount to too much. Not that much to be accomplished just yet. Still looking interested in this fight as Lona is very weak on that Abrams. Gotta be careful. A swap comes on through as the fight proceeds. They want more from this. Some assistance comes on through. And you can see a lot of annoying play from Gibbs just darting around. But, mission accomplished. They got the Guardian. And
I guess...
Okay.
I was gonna say, I guess they did get the Guardian, but I was surprised to see him swap back in to trade places because the backup wasn't going to be there. Lona was too low in HP to go for any sort of fight. But you're right, they do get the Guardian down. So at least they get an advantage from that. They also return right back to lane. I was expecting them maybe to help with the left lane to go for a gank or something like that. But instead they're going to go for the chase over onto John here. They might be able to connect onto it. The launch pad actually helps out Lona here, but the chase I think will be halted. There won't be a kill coming from that.
Lona, I can think anyway, the disarm there was perfectly timed to save the Holiday. This is a pretty nasty lane to be up against as well. The Mina, Calico, they're looking for a dive as well. Aiden is 30% HP here. Oh, here comes the dive attempt. The dash is almost good enough to get that finishing amount of damage to take down Aiden. And they're going to lose their mid Guardian. And this doesn't feel good right now for the Unks.
Maybe you are a dear.
I see paradox.
I think I didn't check at the time, but after he went for that little dive onto Aiden, he had cold front up, and and his gloom bombs came out like a little bit late. I'm not sure if that was a cooldown problem or a misplay problem, because I feel like he should have been able to get that kill. If he connected like any of those gloom bombs, that would have been a dead Vindicta. But as they rotate over towards the right hand side, they're looking for another Guardian and leaving Ido just to farm up in the mid lane. And DMB is just still being handheld by Sai on this left-hand side. But they potentially should be coming into another Guardian take for melee creeps on the right-hand side with the players they've invested.
And Ido there is actually quite alone again. And there's 3 players surrounding Ido in the mid position. So Sai will come in on the Kelvin to assist in the meantime. As we see all the sinners get kind of cleared out throughout that 8th minute mark. Combo connected. Lona, it's getting tight. Oh, there's no way he's going to survive, surely. Yeah, it's just getting absolutely mauled by 3 players. In the meantime, we had another fight there towards the mid position where they were able to, melee creeps were able to rescue Ido.
Okay, gotta be a little careful here, Gibbs. He's already low on HP. Don't necessarily hate this out of Scout taking up a lot of the Walker damage while he's burrowed for the extra resist, and they do, sorry, Guardian damage, and they do get the Guardian. So that's number 3, first flex slot unlocked for them. Also, a lot of potential control here as we move into the first set of, or the second set of buffs in the first urn coming through. That's brought a nice 6k lead, and at least things have been able to get the right lane Guardian. But if melee creeps play this right and they deny at least the flex slot from coming out, the Youngs are going to have a very tough time here. And even Zera at the moment, I'm curious to see how his build develops, as he did have the extra move speed off the bat picked up. And I believe he went for a shielding item, if I'm not mistaken, after that.
It's kind of this time of the game, by the way, Jason, where the Youngs were able to sort of start taking down all the Guardians that they were missing out of the early lane, and you can see it's much more of a struggle to do that. They are focused on the mid Guardian right now. They're trying to take that one down. They do have a lot of players focused on mid at the moment, and once again, Sai has to come in to assist. It's a 3 versus what is to soon be 4 players for melee creeps that will defend this, and I'm sure the melee creeps are looking to chase this one down there in the mid lane, as the Guardian does get taken out there by the Unks. So mission successful, but they get the bridge bus come up. They do lose Lona, and the fight proceeds. But Aiden able to take down Fishcake as they start to, keep pushing in and maybe going a little bit too deep there. Good punish coming in from the Youngs. Because again, we need to see Aiden get powered up right now, and definitely not as far ahead as he was this time in the last game.
Either he didn't get the kill with Assassinate there, or he didn't have it max level, because he only had 300 unsecured souls on him after that kill, which is kind of a shame considering he could have had 500 extra souls to spend. He would have been up to like 3,700 at that point. But as you do see melee creeps contest this initial urn, Ido get a good punch in to prevent the urn from being picked up for the Youngs, because it was getting kind of close to actually being a turn on their side of the map. With a 6k lead and with, I believe, urn in hand, they're going to even look for another fight on this left hand side. They drop here and they realize, we can afford to fight this here. Even Sai, honestly, could just frozen shelter to lock them in to allow the teammates to rotate even further. But now Lona's overextended by himself, and he's going to be running into 2 more players out of melee creeps. Or I think let him get away, instead go for the urn.
And one of the things for me, Jason, I'm wondering about is, the value of Drifter in all these situations. Obviously, he gets a big bonus of damage when he finds people alone, but there's so much team fighting going on, like you guys were both saying in the pregame.
He's backdooring the Guardian. He did it. Right. Backdoored the Guardian. And he can't fly away, though.
Yeah, and this chase down is looking pretty good for Sire right now. Easy kill. I mean, there is value to be able to pick that one up, but at the same time, melee creeps, as we can see, picking up the urn and getting that turned in. Now Deathy goes down there as well. So 10k, 11k advantage now at the 12-minute mark for melee creeps when we're all even on the Guardians.
Oh. So look at Sai's build. He went for Fleetfoot, so he can just chase you while he's shooting. And he also has the extra movement speed with his Ice Path. But then he also picks up Hunter's Aura as well to help assist his team to get even more kills and to help power up John and Fishcake, Ido as well on this, even DMB. I want to say it's actually like a slightly different build than we normally would see on a Kelvin, to be honest, but I'm kind of digging it for the way it works with Sai's playstyle, because he likes to be more aggressive, and he doesn't. I feel like Kelvin doesn't really fit his playstyle as a hero, so he's kind of modifying a bit to kind of fit the way he likes to play and wants to play in this match.
Yeah, and especially with, if you dome people, you'll get the, isn't it minus bullet resist with the if the people are close enough when you have Hunter's Aura as well?
And it's like tripled if they're solo.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, that makes you pretty savage to deal with.
Oh my god, I'm about to get punched in the back of the head here.
Yeah, those are some big hands. Lona has. So is there any hope here? Because I feel like there isn't. It does feel like it's hard not to say a comp diff when one team has Drifter and the other team has Kelvin, Infernus, Holiday. You know, like.
I mean, so I think the problem, one of the problems they're going to have is like obviously Drifter isn't great, period. Which is a problem. Oh my god, which is a problem, right? But also the fact that because melee creeps are 9, they were 11k ahead. There's really no threat of them being able to chase you down and to catch on to Aiden, who hasn't had the strongest of starts either, as you mentioned before. Only at 10,000 souls right now, hasn't created a big lead for himself. So the fact that they can chase on you like Saya and Scout and Fishcake, or they could lasso you in, and the lead that they have, yeah, I don't really see the Unks being too effective here. And for them to get back into this, I think you're gonna have to look a lot onto Wonder to power up and Deathy to power up to be the carry they need.
Yeah, we're at another mid fight, or rather, sorry, another bridge fight. The combo is connected, and John's going to be able to capitalize off that one. Moving around as a pack, kind of taking whatever they want. A bunch of young thugs moving around.
I mean, I think they have strength in numbers. Like the focus around a Mo, Holiday, a Calico, and a Kelvin. You have so much catch there. You have combo, you have lasso, you have frozen shelter, you have the sustain out of Kelvin as well. It makes it really easy to take these skirmishes this early into the game and potentially push into some objectives. I was expecting to maybe push on this right hand side with the kills that they've gotten, but instead of playing things a little bit more safe and going for a lot of this jungle farm too.
Yeah, the Youngs really needs to find a way to have some positive team fights, and again, I'm trying to understand, where Drifter fits into the picture, and I don't know that he fits into any picture.
Well, so I think it's about protection for Aiden, though I could be completely wrong. Like, because Aiden will be in the sky, take away vision from people on the ground. And being able to like track them in the team with communication is easier than being able to say exactly where, because you're adding an entire new access to where you have to explain where this person is. So Aiden should have the freedom to be able to do a lot of damage from range and from the sky, unless they're able to spot him out and like Scout gets to him ahead of time, because then you can see where your teammate is and just shoot in that direction. I honestly think it's just about protecting Aiden.
Well, there we go. Aiden is able to catch Mina, who is very, very low health hero. And we also had a nice attempt on the steal of the Sinners from Wander as well. So it's definitely some small wins coming in right now. Aiden is in trouble though. Getting really weak there. Lona comes in to help. In the meantime, Saya able to take down, or help to take down that Walker. And yes, not going to survive too long in the dome. It's not a good look here. Oh wow, the rescue attempt comes through. Hit the barrier there as well, but it's not going to do all that much in the end. So Aiden actually managed to survive somehow. That's impressive. Look at the map control right now that melee creeps have. They have the entire map.
Yeah, and they're going to defend this earned turn-in. I think Lona is depending on this turn-in to help them get some sort of souls back. But with John pushing the right-hand lane for a walker, you can see DMB and Saya holding the actual turn-in. There's just no avenue for success for him right now. And look how hard it is for John to be killed. Even connects the lasso here. The backup's going to be there with Mo and Krill. And Scout is going to be looking for a combo as he disconnected initially. And Wander has no chance to stone form because he's been caught out by the combo.
Yeah, easy, beautiful, brilliant stuff here from Melee Crews. As John continues to I think he's just vibing out there actually. He gets caught off guard. So that's a great punish, but in the meantime, the mid walker is going to go down. Or it looks like that could be the case as damage is being pumped into it. We will get a response coming on through here from the Youngs for the defense. And at the same time, this might be the opportunity that Lona's been looking forward to actually turn in this on. And finally, we get an isolated fight there for Drifter, pumping out the damage into Kelvin, but it's definitely a very hard task still to take down Kelvin. Still up here. The chase continues. Will we get Drifter in? Oh no! That's how the turns table in the dome. And no, Drifter, suddenly all that work, all that health is back in Kelvin as he heals everything back up again. But still, this is a story of not giving up, Jason.
And eventually, I mean, she gets a kill on the DMB. He survives it. Got the kill on Asai as well. The 2 quick kills being picked up. I don't know if they're both isolated. I had to restart the stream on my side. I couldn't see what was happening. Also, Aiden gets a kill, and just like that, the Unks get themselves 3 quick kills in quick succession. Mid boss is up as well. So there technically is a world where they could go for mid boss right off the back of this, but the longer they wait, the less chance they can go for it successfully. And they keep the mid lane walker alive.
The chase on continues from Wonder. Wonder's had like, a lot of damage output. It's been doing a good job in terms of ensuring that it's able to be impactful in these fights and in the harass. So, the Unks are doing a great job here, and, the scoreline actually ties up a little bit. We're almost on parity. It's a 3k soul difference, Jason. So, for everything that we've said, the hopelessness that we've been, setting the stage as, that this is just a terrible situation, it's actually looking kind of even on the souls. So, great comeback here from the Unks in that sense.
I do wonder if the slowing hex bot for Wonder. Was it worth the souls? I mean, it stops Ido. It stops Fishcake. It stops Saya. I don't know. It's interesting as a pickup because, again, I think he's a little bit delayed in terms of like a big build. He doesn't have any like big items picked up just yet to hit like a big power spike, like no siphon bullets. Maybe even Fury Trance might be a play for him at some point. I know he's definitely a player who likes to take Fury Trance. But yeah, I mean, the souls, it is surprising how quickly it has been caught back up. But after we see melee cubes retreat away and pick up their own farm, I mean, it's still back to another 5k lead for themselves.
Yeah, it's definitely really so different to how it's kind of started out. And okay, that's gonna be very difficult. It's a very difficult situation there for Gibbs. Gets caught, and the escape attempts coming on through here from the rest of them. It's not going to happen. Getting caught in the dome is really the worst possible thing that can happen. And look at the burn damage coming on through to the entire team. They're just getting absolutely wiped out here in this fight. Not a good team fight. There's a good catch though coming on through to DMB so that he will fall, and suddenly the fight turns around. Great effort from the Unks here to bring this one back under control, as now the pain comes back onto the moat. Scout falls, and suddenly it kind of looks like the Unks are beginning to rout melee creeps, but they're coming back on through. Ido doing a lot of damage, equalizing the situation. 3 versus 3 here in this particular fight, as actually players from the Unks aren't in position, I don't think, for this. As the fight goes up to the high grounds, and Ido continues to try to chase. Drifter finally gets taken out, so goodbye, Sarah.
Yeah, they get the initial like 3 kills, but I think the problem is they're not able to lock down any of the further kills after that. And because of the mobility and like movement out of Ido in particular, he stalls for enough time for like reinforcements to come back in, for Fishcake to rejoin the party after you chased away a player over towards the base, and they just out survive them. They eventually like allow the respawns to come back through. There's no punishment for them with the Youngs taking mid boss because the 3 kills they had. And now they're back on the attack once again. I mean, they can use this urn to just turn in or to bait for a free mid lane walker and another flex slot. There's a lot of avenues for attack for them right now of what they could do with this urn.
Yeah, 6k difference. An attempt coming through. And there we go. Gets deposited rapidly. That mid walker is extremely low for the Youngs, but it is still up. That could even be backdoored. That's so low. And the melee creeps will find the Youngs here in mid. Youngs rallying around that mid walker, but still having a good force there, applying pressure on the left side. But these 2 players might get caught here. Paradox and Ivy, they have to, I mean, Ivy has to have the ult online, but the ult is online. It's going to get utilized. That's going to allow them to escape. That's perfect play to get them out of that position. In the meantime, you got Deathy farming on the right side. So this is some good macro from the Unks here, Jason.
Yeah, I think they've been doing a good job of like taking these fights. If you think about the last 2 big team fights, that's how they've closed this gap. It was looking honestly very grim for them, and you were even saying, the Unks, can they even get back into this? And I think with the fights that they had, I think taking advantage of just the pure numbers as well really helped them turn things around. But even off the back of those 2 fights, they're still going to be down 11k once all the farming's been done. Lanes have been shoved back out. I mean, there's still a lot of sinners to be picked up across the map too. But yeah, you make a good point with Deathy farming off to himself. You would typically want to have like Wonder be the one farming this right-hand lane who can rejoin the fight. And you want Deathy here for these skirmishes. Though I do want to know, what has Deathy actually leveled up? Because I want to say he hasn't leveled up his Killing Blow all the way yet to level 3. We don't really see shifts do that, to be honest. Though I still say I feel like Killing Blow is insane, especially when you can depend on your team to do some good damage.
Oh, the catch though. Oh, the save though onto the Mo with the Kelvin Dome. Though it's not somewhat good enough burst damage to take down a scout after the dome is being utilized. So was that dome not high value? This might be a good look here for the Youngs as they pursue the fight. They're looking to lay down this damage output, and you've got a big target focus coming straight on top of Wanda on the Ivy, unable to stone form or anything like that. Great play from Ido. The trade though onto Ido is so important. That keeps the Youngs in this fight for a moment longer as they continue to try to find these weakened players. Where on earth is Infernus going? Flying around, able to somehow get out of the fight and avoid Loner and his massive hands.
And Deathy's rejoined the fight too. He eventually gets a kill over onto Saya, taking away any sort of healing for the team. And Fishkick gets slammed into a wall yet again here. Very low on HP, and Lona has been able to be this frontline wall for them, soaking up so much damage and getting a 3-for-3 trade where it looked like they wouldn't have a chance here. They keep things equal, but damn, that was close. And also, not to mention, I just realized, looked up, John John's on 30,000 souls on the holiday. He's got glass cannon picked up too.
That's a problem. It's got the glass cannon online indeed. And again, this is the kind of the thing, like this is the trade-off that you were referring to with the Shiv. The way that with Ivy, you need to bring Ivy online is you have to have Ivy getting the priority on the farm. And so you got to have a play style that works around that. And to do so, you know, typically, I think the Youngs have a play style where that works, but they just haven't prioritized Ivy being in that solo job, essentially.
Yeah.
As OCs would. And the Warpstone catch. Oh, Wanda's getting caught here. Can he be saved? Wanda will not be saved. And talking about the Ivy getting farmed, that's going to slow it down even more.
Oh, let's see, John who just picked up Lucky Shot, what he can do. So you see the Drifter, Eternal Darkness has come through, and he's blinded up. So you can see him backing away, being more hesitant to actually go for an engage. I'd say almost a decent disengage tool because you kind of limit that visibility and may even be able to turn this one around too. Fishcake so low on health. In the meantime, Minion's taking down the mid lane Walker, so that's another flex unlock for melee creep. So the fights continue. Lona's going in deep, and he wants these kills. Even gets the kill onto John here with the help of Deathy.
More Kelvin shelters coming down in. But, ooh, there we go. Zera actually winning the 1v1 there against the Kelvin. And what else can Zera do in that fight? Mina Squishy trying to get out of there, using the Sanguine Retreat to do so, separating from the team. As right now the entire melee creeps are scrambling, and the Youngs actually moving in full force. Aiden coming in, big snipe, big damage, the takedown onto Scout. And with that, 3 players out of the picture. Do we go mid-boss right now? They're on top of a Walker. More kills to maybe be found here as they continue to apply the pressure around the earn drop-off spot, and it's looking very nice right now here for the Ungs as they lay down the damage. They've got good lines. They've got the damage at the back line here in Aiden. They've got Lona in the front doing all that tanky business, and the Walker is vulnerable. There is another kill. They finally chased down DMB. Now Ido is trying to dart around using Sanguine Retreat, trying to delay these players as they continue to try to do the damage, but they are just wasting time at this point.
Yeah, Ido's proven just to be so hard to kill. I mean, he's got a lot of damage, but the fact is he's surviving these fights so well. You can see Sanguine Retreat as well has a pretty low cooldown of 10 seconds. The way he's also bouncing off the walls, making it very difficult to connect any sort of shots onto him. With him surviving, like the Youngs aren't able to get any objectives off of this. They didn't get a mid-boss. Well, there was maybe an opportunity, a very small opportunity. They didn't get the right lane walker, so they're still missing the extra flex slot. Melee creeps are just proven to be so slippery, and I think that maybe that's why you're seeing a lot of these slowing hexes picked up. Even Mystic Slow was picked up for Wander as well to help maybe limit this mobility and slow them down. But we go right back into still a 6k lead for melee creeps, 7k lead, and another urn being picked up. Frozen Shelters available this time too for the fight if they want to go for it, and the Youngs, we don't have Killing Blow. Sometimes like Impact's not that big of a deal. The flight's not that big of a deal either, but not having the Killing Blow, I think, would probably be the biggest problem here. If you're trying to confirm a kill into someone.
Well, they're going to trade off the urn for the Walker in mid, or try to. So, okay, it looks like they're not going to be going for it, which makes sense. 4 players coming back for the defense there. So, but ultimately the problem is that the Youngs got nothing there. There was no trade. The best that they could possibly do is win a team fight, which it looks like they'll have an attempt at doing, because in comes the melee creeps looking to actually lock down the Unks in one of those team fights, and the Unks are repositioning. They're falling back out of this one. They're not allowing themselves to get caught just yet. And so now melee creeps will fall back onto the map where there's a lot of farm for them to get.
Yeah, this is the big one. Is that Wonder, he knows he can't take out a 1v1, but he gets the Walker. And because of the presence of the Unks, trying to like just get a soft, not even an engage on a melee creeps, but more of information, it doesn't allow anyone else to rotate into this Walker. I think a very smart macro play out of them, knowing he had his airdrop available to get away as well. I think that was a win for the Unks, but they might be getting caught in this left-hand lane, which would be a massive loss.
If they go down here, I think mid boss is potentially the prize. So this is, I totally agree, a really problematic place to get 2 of your players caught. If it was 1, that'd be a bit different, but 2 players is an enormous find there for melee creeps. Very difficult situation now. 14k deficit, and surely mid boss is the next destination.
And Aiden, he's at 26,000 souls. This is kind of what we talked about with Vindicta. Like, it's very feast or famine. Like, yeah, he looked great in the last game, but that's when they were winning, and it helped him snowball. When you're behind, it's hard to make that Vindicta effective. And this mid boss just gonna be completely uncontested. Instead, Aiden's gonna farm up the left-hand side, Lona to farm up the right. And now melee creeps with 3 rejuves in hand and no outside of the base objectives to take. You know they're gonna be looking for an engage now. All they have to worry about is the swap out of Gibbs, but he's got 20 seconds left on his respawn anyways.
Yeah, 33k Infernus, 36k Holiday. Now we have the lucky shot on Holiday as well as the glass cannon. So it's pretty nasty. Oh yeah, I forgot about Ido too. 35k Ido on. I mean, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little painful, I think you could say.
I think this is going to require from the Youngs almost a perfect team fight. I feel like, especially just using all of the ults to their maximum. Oh, Lona gets caught early, and that is not helpful here for the Youngs. They keep getting picked off here. Now the dome comes in to isolate more players, and the flight comes on through, but that's a very dead Ivy. Wonder out of the game, and now isolated Deathy as well. The worst possible team fight.
Yeah, you can have all the swaps in the world right now, but it's not going to matter anymore with your team completely dead. Drifter and Paradox aren't going to do a whole lot of anything here. In the meantime, you can see DMB has been chugging away at 36,000 souls too. He's very, very fed, as well as Ido. And she opens up the base here to actually just run past the base to go for the shrines. And honestly, I feel like they could almost just finish it right here.
Yeah, totally. They've got just picked up another kill. Full rejuve crystals, and there's actually still so much time. They can end before everyone even gets back, and that's what they're going to do. They're looking to end it right now.
Yeah, and I think well deserved. I think, to be fair though, the Youngs did perform better than my expectations. They definitely had opportunities and moments where they came back into the game. But again, you're playing against a completely different beast with melee creeps. They're organized. They've been playing together for weeks now. Ido's only recent change within this roster. They previously won the Trolley Open. It's definitely gonna be the toughest challenge for the Youngs. And I mean, they had some good moments, like I said, but when it comes down to it, melee creeps are just gonna outclass you the longer the game goes on.
Just like a cat in a business suit, they are taking care of business and looking good doing it. Melee creeps up 1-0 over the Unks, but the Unks, they made it close. They made it competitive at times, especially that early game, that mid game. This wasn't as easy as maybe Melee creeps would have hoped. Does that give you guys hope for a potential game 3 in this series? Do you think the Unks can bring it back for maybe just one more?
I don't know if they can win, but I was actually very pleasantly surprised by how many good team fights they had. Because I think that's something in the past that I think was kind of an issue. And so the fact that they were doing it against Kelvin as well, like there were multiple different fights where Kelvin got his dome off, but they were able to kind of force the Kelvin dome in bad spots, and then they were able to target fire certain heroes and get the burst damage in the right place to kind of turn fights around. So honestly, there's a lot, I think, in the team fights that was impressive to me, and they had Drifter, and so they lost all the early lanes, and they were playing against Kelvin and Holiday, and they had all this crazy farm on Infernus as well. So it kind of felt like against all the odds, they managed to still have good team fights. So I was kind of impressed.
I mean, even though we kind of meme on Drifter, I think one thing Zera did do well is, as you were talking about these domes being forced out, I think he did a good job of forcing out these domes out of Saya. There was definitely a couple of instances where he was able to get engage onto him to force out a dome to pretty much only heal himself. I do actually kind of wonder if we ever had the ability to break it down, how much healing his dome did to his teammates. Because I want to say for the most part, it wasn't super high with the domes he was throwing down, mostly due to Zera. Like there's a fight up above, was it like Fish Market, and he had him like locked in the closet with his own dome, and he eventually got the kill onto him as well. I think that was actually like one advantage of what Zera was able to pull off.
Yeah, that could definitely be a problem and something that they could build on if they wanted to go this route in future drafts. But I mean, just the power of things like Mo, I think we've seen Mo be kind of a wall for a lot of teams, trying to break into this top level where, it just gives you such insane pickoff potential. If one player slips up, find themselves a little bit out of position, they're just dead. They're just bursted down, and then the player advantage only gets worse from there. John definitely flexed the versatility this game to bring out the Holiday and to look pretty comfortable on it. But like you said, it wasn't free. It wasn't a free game, right? Like the counter kills, the dives were strong.
Yeah, that was the moment I was talking about with Zera when he got direct on top of side, forced the frozen shelter onto himself, and then he wasn't even able to heal that one up. I think, yeah, like as Dan pointed out, they had some good fights. They had some good engages, surprisingly, actually. But I think one thing we never really got to see, though, was just how slippery Ido was being. Like that fight over at that fish market, we ended up seeing Ido and Fishcake surviving long enough that, honestly, there was no follow-up to those kills that the Youngs got. Like on the right-hand side with the Walker, they got a lot of kills, but they couldn't turn it into a mid-boss because, again, Ido was just stalling for time. And because they couldn't close out those fights quickly, they couldn't turn it into objectives.
Yeah, that was a situation where I think I wonder what would have happened if they had the decisive shot calling of like, okay, we got the 3 kills, we routed the rest of the team. Yeah, Ido's dancing around. Don't chase, go mid-boss. I wonder what could have happened if that was the case.
Yeah, and that's like one of the challenges for playing at this level. As Jason, I did not fart. It may have been my chair.
Bro, you didn't have to say it on air.
Just to bring it out on air for all the people.
I heard like a...
I assure you, I'm not ripping a nasty one on air. But
that's why I'm happy I have a mute button.
I appreciate the sentiment. As we look back on this match, I think we'll need the stats to fully understand this one. As I'm especially interested to see with the new builds people have been going for, like, where's the farm coming from for some of these heroes that are really able to take the game over? Like for somebody like Holiday, how much is she dealing with jungle versus lane creeps versus playing off of the back of kills? I'm kind of curious to see that once we're able to get those in, because I think it's often a way to illuminate maybe a little bit of what we can expect going forward into the series.
Well, there you go. So for Janja in particular, 24% coming from his neutrals and 21% from the troopers.
Okay,
yeah.
Holiday being that good of a jungler is maybe a little bit sus. That's kind of a problem, right? Holiday is significantly out jungling Infernus, who is one of the better, I think, players. I mean, maybe it's just DMB this game in particular, doing a bunch of lane pushing, knowing that John is going to be like the true ultra late carry with this hyper damage gun build. That's a lot of jungle creeps, man. When neutrals are number one, you're doing a little bit of PV and definitely a little bit of hanging with the boys in the jungle.
I want to know, where's ZP at? Where's the same amount of enragedness about Zero picking up sharpshooter with John picking up the same thing?
Sharpshooter looked all right this game.
Come on, ZP. I saw you on mute. I saw you on mute.
He's not being baited. That's smart. He holds back. Jason just chumming the water.
So he just hates Zera is what I'm saying.
Absolutely chumming the water. But ZP, he's a wise man. He's not going to bite on this one. Saya, meanwhile, very strong Kelvin performance. We've been talking about this guy he's so good at a lot of these characters, but do you really want him on Kelvin? Like, that doesn't feel the best. Very solid game, super high kill participation, low deaths, always there when you needed him in this series. Although, as you mentioned, right, that drifter from Zera kind of made it a problem, made it a little bit less effective for the Kelvin Dome's isolation, kind of turning it against the melee creep squad, though, of course, it wasn't enough to secure the win.
As well as like what I'm looking at, he has toxic bullets picked up, which I think isn't necessarily. I mean, I think they need some sort of anti-heal because I only see two heal banes, one for Deathy and one for Aiden. So they need some way to stop Saya's healing, which he still pulled off 25k. And I guess you went with toxic bullets over a heal bane. But I don't know how easily that stacks up on a drifter. I've actually never bought that item on him, so I'm not sure. I assume it's pretty decent because you have to be close.
Yeah, he's got enough fire rate to, I think, be able to get it up pretty quickly. I think the bigger problem in this game really is, like we talked about, the effect of darkness and how powerful a tool it can be, and how much it can dictate a team fight and maybe allow players like Aiden or I'm just calling him Bungus or Gibbs to get value from range right on their characters. But you got those double divine barriers on Saya and Scout, making it you just divine barrier and it purges off the darkness. And hey, maybe you're still getting some people with darkness, but the effect is just so mitigated with divine barriers online. Such a powerful tool of just immediately purging that. And then you thought we couldn't see you. Actually, we can, and we have 1,000 HP shield, and we're completely turning the fight on you on Drifter.
Yeah, and even on the note of Drifter, I mean, Zera did actually a lot of player damage on him. I mean, he led the lobby at 30,000. You look at like Aiden at 17k, Lona at 19k, and Wonder only at 20k. Like even Gibbs, I almost called him Bungus too, was at 24k. I feel like Wonder just really didn't hit the tempo he needed, like that moment to come online. Whether or not that was because he wasn't being fed over as many souls as he needed to. Just imagine, he was gifted a couple extra thousand from each player. He would have hit that threshold where he would have been able to really have massive impact in these fights.
Also, bro, is this a bug? Did Zera do 0 objective damage? I mean, that's pretty egregious. Like 0. I mean, I understand maybe it being low. It's a tough game. You're not doing that much taking of objectives, but 0, not a one time.
Perfection.
True commitment to the jungle.
I mean, if you're not going to do
a
it,
lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're not going to go after an objective, like just like there's no like half measure, right? It's either all the way in or nothing at all. He's been maxing. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I had some more belief in Drifter. Maybe there's some more viability. I don't know. I still honestly have no idea how to like think about Drifter ultimately in a lot of these games, but it's like with how we've seen Holiday's evolution and how we've seen a lot of Heroes evolution, like seeing Sinclair today. There's obviously always a place in most cases for any given hero, except McGinnis.
Is there a place in this game too for Drifter? I mean, although I see some kind of vision for Drifter, I think it's just a little sus when there's such powerful options in the meta right now, such as Infernus, Holiday, Ivy. There's just so many ultra powerful carries. Feels a little bit forced, to be honest, to be going the Drifter direction. And the Unks learned their lesson. They're gonna opening ban Kelvin, although they do have the first pick, so it gets a little bit sketchy now.
I mean, it's either you probably just ban out Yamato again, no?
I think they did it once before. Why not run it again? And I would love to see the Unks grab the Holiday here. I think it's so powerful. It's this like hot shot new hero in the meta that could be OP. You got to take a gamble, I think, for the Unks and maybe snap that up. And John even, I think, is it 100% win rate today? Holiday might be 100% win rate today. It's been certainly dominating this particular Deadlock Night Shift.
It is. That's correct. Like that's 5 of 5 now, I think.
What I do.
I think it's 5 of 5.
But the Unks, I mean, we talked about this, right? Like this is like sort of one of those subtle differences about teams at this level. They go for the Ivy pick, and I think this is mostly a play on like, look, we want to have Wander on a comfortable hero. Yamato's already banned. We're scared we're gonna like run out of good picks for him. That means the draft is not as aggressive as it could be. So maybe Creep's likely to get the Holiday here in the first 2. Maybe even like a Holiday. Oh, and the Shiv, of course, as well, has been taking more bans today than picks, but has always been prioed pretty high for the last few weeks.
There's a certain hero I'd love to see Zera pick up, actually, that I know someone in chat would love. And this might be the first show in 2 or 3 night shifts that we've not said this name. And all you need to do is look at chat and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it out loud because, Puckett's not here to help out with this one. But
I already knew what it was without seeing chat.
One of our favorite supporters here in the chat. And Inferno. Okay, so it is not going to be the holiday. All right, maybe it's just going back to the fundamentals. I think they may be underrating the holiday, and the Unks are going to take the opportunity to snap it right back up. At the same time, getting Shiv and Infernus, it is such a wombo combo. They're great, playing in that 1-2 punch in the team fight. Infernus would be an annoying hero to match up against as Shiv, kind of forcing you to build debuff remover and some maybe more defensive tools that you might normally want to build, and also having a naturally strong matchup. And they also snag the Mina away, so they are kind of attacking some of the hero pools of melee creeps. I wouldn't mind melee creeps getting the pocket right here and now, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say pocket was banned around the second time for the Unks, and by taking away Mina with Yamato taken away for Ido already. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see me some pocket, especially when it's Ido being played. But no, we forgot about the Bebop for John.
He's gonna do it to him.
A ban.
Yeah, this is scary. I do think Bebop has a really nice place in the game here, especially against a Holiday, right? Like if you're worried about Holiday, there's, Bebop hook into whatever, pick your poison as far as combos, right? There's so many tools. At some point in the game, you're going to grab a curse. And then, Holiday does do monster damage in the late game, but you have a way to deal with her. If you can hook her and follow up with a bunch of control, her damage isn't that relevant. And she is going to be pretty squishy if she goes for that, all-in gun damage build that has kind of risen in the meta this week.
Sorry, I just love everyone in chat knows exactly who I'm talking about as well.
There's no confusion. There's no confusion among chatters. Everyone's in on the joke. And Pocket is banned, so you got Bebop, but you had to sacrifice the Pocket for it. Was it worth it?
It's pretty worth it because they took Mina, right? And obviously Pocket's another. It's like that's an Ido hero, and you're going to get absolutely wrecked. And you're not going to pick Pocket, I don't think, because they don't really have a Pocket player, right? Deathy plays Pocket, but I don't think Deathy's Pocket is too notable from when we've seen it, at least on broadcast. Paradox comes in, so you're talking about like dealing with Holiday. You got a lot of setup pieces now to kind of start to disable the Holiday, and also like the Mina as well. Oof, God,
Where's
this is honestly, this is nasty.
That's a good call out, actually.
In Paradox.
I don't hate the idea of a page to like kind of dominate a lane, but the Unks are the ones who are going to grab it up for themselves.
Like it.
They're kind of missing a combo hero. Yeah, I'd love to see. Yeah, I think a Billy's a great call out. I don't know what. Yeah, there's not really that many options really left in terms of the like heavy frontliner lineup here. Maybe it could be an Abrams.
I think Alone did really well in Abrams actually in the last game. He was playing really well in the front line, surviving for a very long time, doing a lot of control and damage as well.
Nice.
I don't know if he's going to be on the Billy though.
Because I agree. Billy's definitely the better combo with Paige for sure, because you can just get way more damage output. The shield can kind of get you leverage way more out of the hero than I think with Abrams. So we'll see. We'll just have to see if Lona can hang on Billy.
Well, I think Lona's going to be on the Page actually.
You think so?
I need to go back in my little database.
Who's the comfortable Page pick? Because I feel like Page is not an easy hero to pilot. I mean, throwing the shield, you might look at it as easy, but Page is a very vulnerable hero in the late game, and you need to be very careful piloting it, understanding that you really can't afford to take the aggression yourself. You kind of need to let your teammates do that and stay in the back lines, but very much easier said than done with the amount of aggression from melee creeps, especially the Calico. Like this hero is going to be the perfect tool for melee creeps to find Paige in the back line, to find Mina and Holiday, and try to assassinate these like core vulnerable backliners before the fight really gets going. What are you going to kind of pick to finish off this draft? Is there a Deathy Lash ever in here? Oh, here it is, baby. The great. I love these final two picks. We got Budget Lash and Budget Abrams in the last two.
You know what I think you need to do, Jake? So I don't think we're gonna hit the 1,500 subs this year back tat, but I feel like if we could get maybe like to 1375, then you got to go put on your pocket cosplay that we didn't get to see.
I gotta take it out of the box, man. I didn't even unbox it. I was too lazy. So like.
So for like 30 subs, you won't do it? If you won't unbox it for like 30 subs?
All right. We gotta get to let's make it an even 1,400 though. I want a nice payoff for this. I want to motivate it.
I'm all for it. I'm curious because everyone thought you were the Pocket. Everyone thinks like DDK was gonna be the Shiv or Pocket.
That would work.
Both
would work. I think I have the hair for Pocket. I think I can. This is what I was gonna do with the Pocket hair. I just need it to be like longer and crazier.
I mean, to be fair, I think Dan would have to grow out the like crazy sideburns with his like beard to make. Oh man, if you actually did that one day,
get the pompadour for Shiv. Like I don't know, if you need like a wig for that, man. You need a prosthesis.
Yeah.
It's not even just a wig. You need like a supporting mesh to be able to pull that one off.
Oh man, so I mean, looking at like this lineup as well, like I can see how the Lash would work, but who's the Lash going to be paired with? Is it going to be like Lash Ivy again? I think we had that in the first match, right?
It's
Paige,
interesting
Billy,
too,
Mina,
because-
Holiday.
Yeah, Ivy Lash. I mean, I guess Lash is not for me the strongest laner, but Ivy can kind of stall these lanes out and just like push waves forever, and maybe that's just good enough. And Lash can also burst down some creeps pretty easily, so I could see them kind of slowing things down. I do think they're maybe a little bit scared of like a very poke trade heavy lane. I do think across the board melee creeps have a stronger group of laners, although like you said, like maybe Paige, Billy, Mina, Holiday, those two are going to be able to hold it down. It is really going to be a lot of scrutiny on probably Deathy and Wander of can they not just survive the lane, but like kind of keep it stable to avoid things crumbling. We know, because if one lane goes really wrong, we know that can kind of snowball into the rest of the map as rotators are freed up. And the laning phase, always important against a team as good as melee creeps. If you let them get away from you, things could get really dark for the Unks. They're down 1-0 in the series. Melee creeps up 1-0. They want to close this one out. They want to finish it off here and now. The Unks fighting for their tournament lives here in the night shift. Guys, take it away.
All right. Here we go, Jason. I gotta say, I'm concerned with the Lash pick this time because there is not the same amount of burst damage to kind of follow up the Lash disruption with, whereas before they had so much like just burst damage. Like right now, what burst damage do they have to really follow it up? I mean,
I don't know, man, but I can't doubt the king of Lash.
Yeah,
I can't be like that anymore. I got to support him at all times. Of course, Deathy, but I know what you mean. And oh my god, actually, look at this initial. Aiden's dead right off the bat. What?
how did that happen? How in the blazes did that happen?
That was a right belter of a punch to finish him off. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, did we have like a 3-minute, 30-second Guardian take earlier today in the EU?
It was just under 330. Yeah, it was like 320 with against an ABL lane. Because it was the Vexing Bolt Sinclair Plus, like who's on Sinclair Plus? Who was he with?
I couldn't tell you. I do not remember. I just think there's a world where we could have this broken already. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that quickly to be honest. But that was one way to start things off.
Okay, so this is very scary right now. We'll see if they're able to bring things back in line, in control. Because in theory, between Mina and Ivy, you should have enough combination of... what they really need to do is they need to be able to get some damage on these heroes to kind of force them to play a little bit more passively. Oh, okay. Down again. And then I was going to say, if you can get bridge control with the Ivy, you can get the kudzu bombs on the creeps as they drop off the line, and you can basically create a scenario where the entire wave is like significantly weakened before it makes it to lane. So it just... That plus Mina feels like it's possible, but... Oh, nice charge coming on through there from Ido. Ido has a nasty Abrams, actually. I forgot about that.
Well, don't forget about Deathy's Lash, because dangerous Deathy, Lash Warrior, Cement Slam Attack, never height fear.
Do you know what the problem is, though?
It scrolled off my screen.
The problem, Jason, is that Deathy's Lash is against John John's Bebop. So you've got the lore battle.
Deathy's Lash, every day of the week. I've never said a bad word about Deathy's Lash in my life. All right, I never will.
Show me the briefcase, Jason. How much did he give you?
And YouTube subs, that's what he gave me. Oh no, okay. Well, actually, kind of surprised we're seeing Paige get caught out here. Gibbs is gonna fall. We're talking about like the survivability of this lane. Well, I mean, it is true, but if Paige is the one being caught out, you don't have the barrier, then well, pretty easy to die as a Paige.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to obviously really have that in mind. That you cannot die in your positioning. So I don't know. It seems kind of obviously that's an obvious point to make, but we're getting a lot of deaths at the moment. Very early deaths on the Unks side. That's putting them behind slightly, but nice that they were able to get a kill back there onto DMB. I think it was. Yes, it was onto DMB. So
I mean, it definitely felt like the game. Yeah, it felt like the game was worse than that, right?
Yeah.
Considering how like mid lane started, but it's actually not that crazy between the two because of the kill we had as well. Well, actually, not to be fair, Gibbs died, so it wasn't the other way around. But they've been keeping up in farms, so that's not too big of a deal. And now John's even gone down too. So yeah, I mean the Unks, they might have had a really rough start in mid, but their other lanes, their outer lanes are really helping carry the weight of the underperformance of the mid lane so far.
Oh my goodness. Aiden. Oh, you've got to get this kill. Oh no, it's heartbreaking. A couple whiffs there. It's the difference on that kill. But yeah, you're right. And I think for anyone that's newer to Deadlock, you know, kills very early in the game don't mean very much because the respawn times are very quick. So the most important thing is for you to die is it depends where the wave is. So long as you're not missing a wave, then you're going to be able to come back into lane and you haven't really given much souls away and you have not really lost any yourself. That's like the main thing to be concerned about.
Unless you have a selfish laner. Oh my god. Same one just to escape. Where they take the farm when you die so they can get extra souls for themselves. Okay, so we do see them get a little bit more aggressive. You can see Wander. I mean, the thing is Aiden's low on HP. So he cannot really stay in lane anymore. He's in a retreat away to go heal, which then leaves Wander to be susceptible to being killed. And now John, who does get the bomb off onto Zera here, he's low on HP. So honestly, really credit to the Unks. Like their outer lanes are doing work where they need it to keep them into this game. Is it still only a 1k difference between the two as Combustions come in and didn't connect over onto Page, and Gibbs, well, I don't think it's gonna matter. He's gonna fall either way.
Well, here we go. DMB on the Infernus. We're gonna get that pressure on. Zydo tanks into the Guardian, and we get that continued shred. And back onto the lane is the Page, ready with the shields. And I assume we must have the Divine Barrier and all that. There we go. We got the extra barrier coming on through. And that's the power of that. You know, the Billy is able to kind of really force the issue there onto the squishy. Ido just purveying in the elevated position up on the boxes. It's going to seismic slam his way down. And we do get the Page ult coming on through there for the assist. And there is a trade in kills here, but Ido is going to be able to get probably some extra damage in this tower, though. The wave comes back in. So Ido's going to be cautious about that. But in the meantime, in the mid, some catch of damage onto Scout. As it seems pretty passive in mid. In fact, I have to say, though, Jason, ultimately, if you look at the tower damage, the Unks towers, all three lanes, untouched.
Yeah, and they're not really been able to get towards the tower. They finally get some damage onto the right-hand side. Somehow Scout escapes this one with the help of Sai in towards mid lane. Even DMB rotating in towards mid to help out. In the meantime, Fishcake, he just got back to lane, I feel like, because he had to go heal at base. He's now low on HP, and the Unks start to turn up the pressure here. Though I think that pressure is going to be halted on this left-hand side as Scout has rotated over here to help with this one, coming back from base to heal. And they get a Guardian and a kill here on the Deathy.
So after indeed a very alarming start, we are in a decent place. So that mid Guardian being down though now for the melee creeps is going to allow them to start putting the pressure on a little bit more. So they might start to put the attention, stacking these side lanes. Once again, diving into the tower a little bit. Abrams able to really sustain a lot. In comes the Billy though, rising Ram, and there comes the shield to keep the Billy protected there. Good stuff from Gibbs. The kill really wants to chase that kill down onto the very, very low player in John and or that Scout, sorry.
Need a little help here.
You don't look like you need help right now, Luna. But we do have Scout rotate to the left-hand side. It eventually helps get a kill. And that's going to allow them to, I would assume, push this Guardian down. There's really nothing stopping them. There's a counter push comes in out of the Unks, and honestly, kind of needed here. With Wander and Aiden trying to get themselves a Guardian for their team.
Yeah, right now the Unks are kind of in trouble here. The centers are coming up. Oh, okay. Over the top, we do get a Nox Nostra coming on through from Aiden. unable to find a conversion off of that, but does, you know, save his teammates. But this is the time, Jason, where, you know, normally the Youngs will be looking to start getting Guardians back themselves, just like stacking lanes to accomplish that. But oh, the catch from John. Goodbye, Deathy. He is not long for this world. There he goes.
Oh man, did you see what John has? Just FYI.
He's got it. He's got the trophy collector.
What have you done, Hoot? What have you started? Oh my. Okay, you gotta be careful here, John. This has the assistance out of Fishcake to make sure he can escape this one. But they get another Guardian. That's the flex slot unlocked here for Melee Creeps, and they built up a 5k lead now so far. Pretty similar to the last game, to be honest, right?
Sorry, say again.
I mean, they're up to another 5k lead in the beginning of the game, which is really similar to the last game.
Yes, that's definitely true. And okay, nice stuff coming in here from Gibbs to kind of reposition, get the ult in, and try to find a way to confirm this kill, but the seismic slam comes to the rescue there for Ido. Split shot is definitely very, very scary at this time of the game. Good damage, stacking damage, captivating read, locking down DMB. Very weak right now. Quite a few players very low in this fight. And still, the fight continues here. Very healthy. Aiden comes in to try to finish off these weakened players. This is a perfect spot for your Mina to clean up. DB will fall. And now maybe the Youngs have an ability to maybe get the pressure on these Guardians.
I think you're dead, Sarah. Yeah, John knew. Backed away. Even with Trophy Collector. It's going to be powering up here. Ido gets a kill over in the, I believe it was the left-hand side. As the fight finally comes to conclusion with the Youngs winning out in the end over there, but they're still not able to get the Guardian as Saya's able to able to rejoin into this lane. It does get stopped up by the captivating read, but it keeps the Guardian alive, and that's the important part. They've maintained 2 of their Guardians so far, only losing that right-hand side. And Fishcake should be able to finish this off. He did miss the serrated blades. And there you go. Slice Dice comes through, he gets the kill, and he's going to save the Guardian on top of that.
Yeah, it's looking really nice here for Melee Creeps. And the Trophy Collector actually is a sick item for Bebop, in theory. All of the bonuses are actually super useful for Bebop. And here comes the end run. And you know what? Sai doesn't care. Doesn't care about all this disruption. Just gonna make his way through. It's got places to be. But there's a lot of damage coming in now. It's gonna drop that one. Nox not sure, but actually no, it's already been utilized here over the top. Sanguine retreat for the reposition. Aiden really trying to do the best here with this bridge to do the most damage possible, supporting his team, but his teammate is struggling here. No rake to finish off this kill on Ido, and now suddenly the focus turns in towards Aiden. He's going to fall back out the fight. In the meantime, the pickup from Saya onto that urn, or the deposit. And Melee Creeps are all over this fight now. Nice catch though from Sarah, and this might be a conversion, but then steps in Scout. Great parry coming on through to keep himself alive here, but for how much longer can Sarah maintain that? No, he's going to get shut down by the bombs, and there were so many small chances there, Jason, for the Youngs, but it's just not coming to fruition.
I mean, I was surprised Aiden was able to escape there. And a really good job out of Scout. Like, his Gloom Bomb placement has been really spot on. He got a kill there, as you saw, puts him on the ground to explode next to his enemies. So, you know, potentially missing, shooting it onto the target. Did that same thing earlier to Wonder on top of Bridge in mid lane. But yeah, Aiden survives with just a little bit of HP. But the fact is, Melee Creeps still turn the fight around. They're up 11,000 souls now, 12 minutes in. This next urn is for sure going to be a comeback urn. So I don't think Melee Creeps are going to be looking to turn that in, but they're just looking for more kills. They might be able to have it here, trying to defend this left-hand side here with DMB opening things up with Combustion, able to stun out Lona, and they wanted to get this flex slot, but the Guardian will go down to Wonder, who just dives straight into it, but it might cost him his life. He doesn't have airdrop to get away, and instead he's just trying to farm, realizing there's probably not a chance I'm going to escape this, so I'll try to get every soul I possibly can here out of the wave.
Easy does it. It's just starting to look quite good for Melee Creeps. Unlike, I think, this point in the previous game where they were getting ahead and the Youngs were still kind of clawing their way back in some of the team fights. For me, it doesn't seem as positive. I don't know. Do you, like, there was a surprising comeback. What is your thought, Jason, on this?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think we had very similar lead for melee creeps, but when they started to push the left-hand side is when they started to have some problems and started getting caught out. And then we had more of those even trades, which favor the Youngs because of the comeback mechanics. So it's still pretty reminiscent, though. It definitely doesn't feel as close as the last game so far, even though it's playing out a relatively same way. I think also there's a lot more potential for kills with like John and Saya, with the swaps, the hooks, not to mention, look how fast this stone golem is. Not even stone golem. This golem is running around because of trophy collector.
Yeah. I think. Well, DMB does get caught, captivating read, and there you go. We burst down DMB. Great gank there. That is some of the stuff that we saw in the previous map that was so nice from the Youngs. And we are going to see a Fishcake get pulled into the Walker. I mean, that is a death sentence. Even Shiv is not going to survive something like that. Gets bursted down and is taken out. But I think not having Iden on Vindicta, I think that extra Vindicta burst damage was able to get so many extra kills for them. But there we go, Death Slam coming on through defensively from Deathy. He tries to survive. He's just out here. He's trying to live. Majestic Leap up on through for the ground strike, maximizing that damage. And DMB is the one that dies. And suddenly it is a Walker siege that's working out well on this left side of the map. But in the meantime, they're losing the mid Walker. They're losing the side Walker on the right. So
yeah,
the trade
a little bit of
is there.
Macro expertise here for melee creeps. I mean, yeah, they're going to lose maybe this left lane Walker, though the mini wave's going to get here, so it will for sure fall. But if they can get 2 Walkers off of this trade, they can be very happy. I think the only downside for them is that DMB may be getting a little bit tilted here since he dies 2 times in a row in quick succession. And credit to Deathy, the knockups they've been able to do, him and Lona together have been able to really prevent the mobility that Infernus inherently has with those flame dashes. But that's still 2 Walkers in favor of melee creeps, and it was 11k lead before. A couple of kills coming through, but with the double Walkers, they extend that lead now to 14k.
Yeah, they got the control of the bridge buff there as well. And they are going to be making the earn run. It's a comeback home, but here comes Deathy. Deathy with the disrupt. And sends the cat underground. Extra health and fortitude is collected. Or upgrades into fortitude. Back into the fight we go on the Calico. Here is the catch onto Gibbs. Actually getting kind of low here. Mina is looking to try to finish this one off. Aiden really looking for these kills. Again, Aiden is struggling without that burst damage from the assassinate. In the meantime, Ida's going to be able to eliminate Lona. Deathy falls as well in the team fight. And that urn is going to be able to get collected soon as the fight continues, but at this point, they're just trying to take out the stragglers. Wanda gets isolated.
I don't know how Scout escaped that either. Oh my god, he was so low in health. The reinforcements that melee creeps just coming in perfectly. Now with all those kills coming through as well, they're looking for a mid-boss take with the urn, so they could just take the reju, then bring the urn, if it stays in this vicinity, over towards the turn-in, have another back-to-back fight. Look for that lead even more as they're approaching 20k. The contest is coming through. Gibbs is going to try to give it a chance here. Captain Reed has come through, but he hasn't locked them away from the reju crystal, and he gets punted from John. And he's just going to pay the ultimate price.
Okay, well, it's a 20k difference here now, Jason, and they lost the 3 rejuve crystals. So now, with the attempt at the urn turn-in, this would in theory be an opportunity for a good team fight. But I don't think ults are online. And yeah, the interest is not there. Actually, they do have some ults.
Yeah, but we're hitting that. I feel like that kind of threshold too of even if you have like the advantage of a walk or something like that, will you have the ability to win a team fight with the lead that they're currently behind? I mean, it's 20k plus it's the rejuves on top of this. So even if you take them down once, which you're already struggling before, can you do it a second time? And they also have 2 ways of displacing you by pulling you in with John and Saya. When your punch comes into Deathy, if you can hit a sick death slam. But I'm not fully sure they have the damage they need off the back of that to finish off a couple of targets. I mean, maybe the Walker cooperates with them and gets a slam as well.
Well, looking to pursue some of these fights around the edges of this mid position. There's another catch on to Aiden. So again, but something that's worth noting is that we've seen Mina get massively deprioritized in Europe. And I wonder what the general sentiment is towards Mina in North America. I don't think it's caught up yet, actually.
Yeah, I think North America always seems to be like a week or two behind. But I also would expect, for instance, like the Unks to play into the meta we see in EU because they're more about playing what they want to play, which I'm totally fine with as well. But we do see the initial engage onto this Walker, which is going to be... It's very hard to pick up these kills because of the extra stats you get, but they're able to do it with Fish Cake because of the killing blow. Wander gets a nice parry onto him as well, and he actually might fall from this one. But again, they still have one Redruve Crystal left. Scout pops his, and Saya is killing the patron. I just realized. I didn't even look at the map.
It's in the base, killing a patron. Oh, Fish Cake is still alive. He didn't die, Jason. He actually survived that.
Oh my God.
And so because of that, they get the Rejuve Crystal up still, and the bonuses. That's actually horrendous. That's so sad.
Paradox is too clever for them.
It's rough. It's rough times. And now they're backing away with a decent amount of souls. 5.4k for Fish Cake. Don't want to imagine what everyone else has. I mean, Saya just bought. Death Slam comes through. Gonna get a catch into a captivating read. So a phenomenal setup here and teamwork out of the Unks, but the damage off the back of that is just not there. Look at the health bars out of melee creeps, and D&B's like, you know what, you guys can fight. I maybe just want to try and finish this game.
Yeah, it would be so sick. Like, that combo is actually really fun to see. It would be so sick if there's a bit more follow-up, but... Well, it's second stage patron already, and melee creeps are rushing to finish it. Sub 20 minutes. Can they do it? Can they do it? 5 more seconds. And they're gonna do it. Sub 1956 finish. Melee creeps are the victors of the Night Shift 13. North America.
Holy toxic Ido. What the heck? They must really have beef, chat. Yeah, they're very mad. They're very mad. He used a term I would never use on stream for pooping on someone.
No.
So we've got to watch out. We'll give him a warning. Don't worry. We'll give him a warning, an official Night Shift warning. There's no bad manners allowed on our stream. This is a friendly tournament.
I have so many terms I want to say right now to keep guessing what he said, but it's probably going to end up being worse than what he said. So
I'm going to stop you right there. We're not getting into Jason's library of dangerous commentary. We're gonna hold the door here for the good people of Twitch television and
my career
our adherence to the terms of service. But what a match, man! Melee creeps stunting on him.
Yeah, I think honestly, if we're to talk bluntly, I don't think we expected the Unks to be able to beat them. Just again, like based off melee creeps being not necessarily like a real team, but the Unks is more of like a stream team. They came together for the Charlie Open. I think they came into this one as well, like being good sports to play. And again, we also saw some great things out of them. Like Deathy had a great lash in the first series of the night. We saw some good stuff out of Zera as well when it came to Holiday. Aiden on Vindicta is always great to see. Lona on Abrams in the last match was also amazing. They had some great like synergy as well, like with the Death Slam into Captivating Reed. Like they had really good setups. But I think melee creeps are just at a different level than them at the moment. But I mean, it's still I still really enjoyed watching them play.
Yeah, I think, as like I was saying from the first map, there was a lot of like really positive takeaways from how the Unks were trying to play the game. In terms of the macro and the setups, team fight, you can tell that there's a lot of detail to how they're trying to coordinate. And obviously that is really so much about what Deadlock really is at the top level. Yeah, get the basic fundamentals right on the macro, but then being able to add the extra layer in and how to set up and create a good team fight in the kind of chaos of a 6v6 with multiple levels and positionings and timings and old combos and synergies and stuff like that. There's a big noticeable improvement for me when watching them in terms of that. Obviously, I think one of the things that they suffered from in this game is the hero pool. I think that they're so much more limited by their hero pool than the opponents, and I think that ultimately is probably part of why they weren't as competitive. And I think if they had like a more competitive hero pool, if they knew how to run the Ivy more effectively, for example, because the Ivy was a high tier pick they were able to secure in the draft, but they weren't able to properly play around it to maximize it in the way that we see it played in Europe, for example. So small details like that, I think, just if they shore those things up, I can clearly see a path for them to improve even more.
But for me, Dan, I respect the hell of them for playing what they want to play and trying to make it work, because it had success in the Charlie Open. It had some success today as well. I like that they're not kind of just meta slaves and they're playing for enjoyment. They're not playing to be the best team in the world. So they want to play heroes that they enjoy playing, and you got to respect them for that.
And honestly, I think it's actually the genuine right strategy. Like, you've got to pick characters you're really good at if you want to take on one of the best teams in North America. And I think trying to force like playing meta characters if you're not that experienced on them, right? Remember, guys, Deadlock is not a fully professionalized esport yet. I know that's some people in the chat may be surprised to find that these players haven't played every single character in the game at the highest level. And if they want the best chance to win, they might do better to stick to, where they're the most comfortable, where they're the most confident. And we saw that work out for the Unks not only the last map being a lot more competitive, but then also in their opening match, in the challenger match, looking very effective on some of these comfort picks. So I think, talking trash in the Unks is a little bit silly. I think they put up an impressive showing for us, but Melee Creep's just another level ahead, and they did just put a world record speed run down. That has to be a Night Shift record, at least in the money match.
If you wanted to wait, I can look it up, but I'm too lazy to do that. So actually ignore that. I don't want to do it. As we get a nice little skyline there. I think someone was actually trying to go check it. I think that was no, I think was that Solomon or was that Low2? I think Low2 wanted to go check actually.
Nobody saw that. Okay, Nobody saw that, Jason. Why'd you pick it up?
Saw what? I don't know what you're talking about. Seeing Fishcake do his 1,700 or 17,000 player damage, or seeing Zero do 0 objective damage last game. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, nobody saw that. I didn't bring direct attention to that either. Obviously, I would never be so toxic on our friendly, positive, competitive esports stream. But nonetheless, you got to give it to the Creeps, man. They put that work in. They're looking for a more serious contender, frankly, in the next week. I think there's going to be, obviously Sneaky Golem out this week. There's a lot of players floating around in the ether in North America. I mean, even on teams like the Unks, right? Like, the talent is there. It's just a matter of the teams being willing to put the work in, to build a squad, to come together. And I don't think the Melee Creeps looked unbeatable. They were strong this week. They were impressive, but despite that, beat down in the second game, the first match was pretty close. And like you said, that's a team, the Unks, that, isn't grinding the way they are. They're just kind of, playing off their individual competency, and they did make it look quite close in that map. So I want to see more from North America. I want to see what teams can come together and really give Melee Creeps a challenge. But for now, we got to give them their flowers. They are the champs. They do take home the prize pool, and we've got to award them the MVP. So guys, who got the honors in this series?
We don't know. None of us know. we left it up to production to choose. Apparently our replay op says it was RECK. Okay, I'm not gonna read that out because it might spell a bad word. It's fish cake, of course. Duh. We all knew it was fish cake, right? Dan, why did you choose fish cake?
So fish cake, he's great, guys. He played Shiv, and look at this. Look at this 1v1. He won this.
This was a legendary 1v1, bro. It was like Billy. That's like Billy things. You're like, holy crap, I need a skill to finish this guy off.
There we go.
And just for clarity, we're kind of like having some fun with this because we didn't really see necessarily one player individually stand out massively within the team of Melee Creeps. Everyone just played really well. So it was
for me, it was John going trophy collector after 1600. Like he had it at like 4 or 5k souls here. I think the trophy collector is here to stay. That's been one thing I think we've seen this week. I don't know if it's going to be like necessarily a top tier meta pick item, but I think we're going to see more and more teams working in maybe that one player who can really get value off the trophy collector and kind of greed into the late game.
There is a value in it. I feel like with the way we've seen, I was to say like the meta adapt, right? We talk about the economy of the game so much, and it is a very important factor to it. When you have certain roles within a team that need massive amounts of farm, like your M1 heroes. So in this case, in this game here, Wonder on Ivy. For Melee Creeps, I guess it would be D&B. You have to allocate a portion of the economy to that person. And then you also need to give a portion of your economy to like somewhere that's like a bruiser that's going to be playing the front line, because you need to have like a sturdy front line. Also someone who can maybe chase away their enemy carries. you're very limited in the amount of souls you can have at any given moment. So Trophy Collector, I think, has a possibility to give to a player who doesn't necessarily need a high economy, but needs some sort of economy to be able to play from, because then they don't need to be taking that from around the map if you're being efficient. But I think it only works on the high level teams, because I would imagine the lower level teams, you're not efficiently taking like all the jungle camps as soon as possible, taking the centers, taking the lane creeps as well. So it's I think a very min-max item for teams.
It's kind of ironic because it is kind of like a pub item, but actually we're seeing that it's best used only in the pro circumstances when it actually only makes sense, which actually creates the circle of the problem, because it validates it as an item for the lower level players.
But I saw Hoot doing it today. Why isn't it working for me?
Totally.
Like, believe me, in the ranked games where everyone's about to build Trophy Collector, we need one Trophy Collector, 6 people queue it up instantly. And you know what? Honestly, this is a classic Mobus, right? You got to fly a little bit close to the sun in terms of like absolutely maxing out your greed. I mean, if you're not playing for like the 80k souls power spike, what are you playing for? Let's be honest. Like that's what we're all waiting for. Plus 60 minutes post, where I really come online with my carry 7 build and start participating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 0 kills, 0 assists until like 67 minutes in, when I have about 87,000 souls. Then I'm like, okay, it's time to fight.
Although with the Trophy Collector, you kind of got to show up to fights, right? You got to earn those stacks. And so maybe this does, maybe activates people a little bit earlier, ups the tempo of things. We'll have to see a lot of interesting developments this week off of the holiday, rising in the pick rates. But we had a great show. I mean, EU, man, the games were electric, so incredibly close. I think that's the beginning of a beautiful new rivalry between Abrahams and Gooballs. And then, Buffingers are even out this week. So there's like now even more teams to be excited about here in EU. May the Creeps kind of standing head and shoulders above the competition, but it's great to see some fresh blood as well coming into North America. Seeing some of our top streamers in Deadlock competing here in the Night Shift as well is always an appreciated joy.
I mean, what's going to happen with Abrahams when Buffingers come back? Because they've now 2 weeks in a row played with Hoot and Obikim. Are they preparing their own replacements when BE graces us with their presence once again?
Maybe they take apocycle and surgery, maybe
I'll just keep gutting the teams below them, and
that's how it goes, man. You gotta take those like up and coming players out of other teams and kind of reforge into new, stronger groups. This is like, for me, this is quintessential early esports. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. Always, we're gonna see more and more shakeups. But for me, what I'm more excited about than necessarily like a team building a dynasty is just the highest level of Deadlock being played week in, week out here on the Night Shift. It's always a place you can come to see the top players and what they want to do. And I mean, for me, it's a lot of it's just the fun of like, okay, what new build's going to come online and look dominant at this level? What items are people building? Like, what direction are they going? And just the incredible playmaking that we get to see from players of this caliber is always a pleasure, always a joy here. Just what an amazing week of the Night Shift. We're always back here every Wednesday, so make sure to mark your calendar. If you like the show, make sure to give us a follow. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and we are live pretty much same time every single Wednesday, man. Pumping Deadlock content straight into the veins.
1 week.
That's where I love my Deadlock content. Straight into the veins.
I don't want to watch that shit. I'm not looking at it. I'm eating it. I'm ingesting it.
Bloody hell.
Daniel. Yeah, I don't know. This took a really weird turn. I think that's our moment that maybe we should end the show here before we go down a spiral that we can't recover from.
I'm losing it, guys. But it has been my pleasure. Any final thoughts to wrap up the show before we do say goodbye to all the good Night Shifters in the chat?
I'll go first. So we have Trophy Collector come into the mix, which is cool to see. But I want to know, when are we going to have our Green Furnace coming into play that Jake ever so perfectly sported for us on our game night? Because that's the real contender right there.
Well, the only thing I have to add is that we are 1 week closer to release, whenever that is. Every week we get 1 week closer. Pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely excited to see more coming our way. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing the thread here, but it's been a great show, and I think this is a good moment as any to wrap it up and let me get some food and water into my body. Is probably better sustenance than a game of Deadlock.